Right then, everybody, World Book Day means one thing. We have to think about our favourite books today, don't we? There's no better day to do it. So, for our literacy job today, that is exactly what I'd like you to do. I'd love it if you could spend a little time with your grown-up and see if you can choose one or two of your favourite books from home. Now, if you're anything like me, you're going to find that really tricky because you might have so many books that you love. I've got so many books that I love. For example, just from the stories that we've been doing together in the last few weeks, Soup Potato and Super Worm, definitely two of my favourite books that we've looked at. Now, it's okay if you've got lots and lots of favourite books, guys. That's brilliant, in fact, if you've got more than one. But for today's job, I want you to try if you can and choose one that you really, really enjoy. Okay? Now, once you've chosen, I think the best possible thing you can do to start your day is to get all snuggled up with your grown-up and share your book together. Nothing beats sitting down with somebody that you love and sharing a good story, does it? So job number one, once you've chosen your book, share it with your grown-up. Then, once you've finished reading and sharing it together, see if you can tell your grown-up why you love it so much. What is it about that book that makes you really happy? Why do you enjoy it? Can you remember all of the things that happen in the story? Can you retell it to your grown-up? Who are the main characters and what are they like? So many things you could talk about together to do with your favourite story, and maybe your grown-ups can share some of their favourite stories with you. Now then, once you've done that, you need to have a little think about your favourite book in a bit more detail, and the way you're going to do that is by choosing one of the following jobs. Ooh. Now, before I explain the jobs to you, can I just share a couple of my favourite books with you? Is that okay? Now, like I said, this is something I find really tricky because, to be honest, it depends what day of the week it is as to what my favourite book is, because there are so many stories that I love. But I have got a few that I love any day of the week, and I've chosen two of them to share with you now. Okay, so my first one is good old Harry Potter. Now, you might still be a little bit little for Harry Potter yet, because Harry Potter is a chapter book. Look at all those words. But I promise you, when you get a bit bigger and when you start reading chapter books like this one, Harry Potter is a world of awesomeness. There are so many brilliant things that happen in these stories that I'm sure lots of you will love. They are full of magic. And that's one of the things I love most about them, because if I could choose, I would love to be able to do magic. I think that would be so cool. And if I could choose, I'd love to be like Harry Potter and go to Hogwarts, which is a special school where you don't learn maths and literacy. You learn how to do magic and how to ride on broomsticks. That sounds pretty awesome to me. Now, there are 7 Harry Potter books for you to read when you get a bit bigger, but this one is my favourite one out of all of them, although all of them are pretty fabulous, guys. My favourite one is The Prisoner of Azkaban. Now, this is my favourite because, can you believe this? When I first got this book, you can see it's quite a thick one, the writing's quite small, but when I first read it, it was so exciting that I read it all in one go. I didn't stop. That was all I did that day, was I sat down and I read the whole of this Harry Potter book. And it was because it was so exciting. I didn't know what was going to happen next. I couldn't guess what was going to happen in the end and if they were all going to be okay. It kept me reading and reading and reading. And for me, that is one thing that makes a book really, really good. If it keeps you wanting to read the next page, then it must be a pretty good book in my opinion. So, Harry Potter, definitely one of my favourite books. Now, I've got got another book to show you. And I don't know if any of you managed to watch the Masked Reader video, but in that video, all of the teachers in school chose one of their favourite books, and we filmed ourselves reading some clues, and then we made our faces go all funny and our voices go all funny, so you couldn't tell who it was. Now, the one that I chose was this book. This book is called The Day the Crayons Quit, and this one is another one of my favourites, and it's because it's so funny. What happens in this story is that all of these crayons belong to a little boy called Duncan, and the crayons get really fed up with Duncan. They don't like the way that he uses them, so they write him a letter and they run away. So he hasn't got any crayons left in his pencil case, he's just got a load of letters. Now, as well as being really funny, one thing I love about this book is the fact that actually, if it was my crayons, I think they'd probably say quite similar things to me as Duncan's crayons say to him. For example, you know what my favourite colour is. What's my favourite colour, guys? Blue, isn't it? Gosh, I just love blue. And the blue in Duncan's pencil case writes him a letter, here look, to say, I'm so tired, because Duncan uses his blue crayon to colour the sea and the sky and lakes and rivers. He uses him all the time. Look, here he is all small and used up and tired. And he writes to Duncan to say, please, can I have a break? And that makes me giggle, because I think if my crayon could write a letter, I think they'd probably say the same thing, because I use my blue crayon all the time, don't I? If I choose a colour, it's always going to be blue, because I love blue. So I love this book because it's full of funny letters from all the crayons telling Duncan how they feel about the way that he uses them. Another good example that makes me smile is the letter from the pink crayon. And the pink crayon is a bit sad because he doesn't get used very much at all. He just gets used by Duncan's little sister, because his little sister loves pink. Now, I think my pink crayon doesn't get used very much either, because I do like pink, but I don't use it very much in my colouring. So I think my pink crayon would feel the same as this one. Really funny story, guys. Now, if you would like to hear this story, if you'd like to hear me read it to you, I've put you a link on our reading card for today, and that'll take you to a video of me reading The Day the Crayons Quit. Now, there is also a link on your World Book Day card this afternoon for you to go to our new virtual library on our school website. Now, on there is where you'll find videos of all the teachers reading their favourite books. So there'll be a video of me reading The Day the Crayons Quit. There'll be a video of Mr. Nodder reading his favourite book. There'll be a video of Miss Morris reading hers and Mrs. Nolan reading hers. So if you'd like to hear some other stories today, guys, click on there and go and have an explore of that. Hey, you never know. By listening to a new story today, you might find your new favourite book. You might find another fabulous story to add to the pile of the ones that you love. Now then, once you have chosen your favourite book and you've talked to your grown-up about it, a bit like I've just talked to you about mine, I'd love it if you could choose one of the following jobs, okay? Now, job number 1 is to draw me a picture of the front cover of your book, or maybe a picture of the main character, or maybe of something that happens in the story. I would love it if you could draw me a picture in your home learning book and then write me a sentence underneath to tell me why you love it. Okay? So for example, if I was going to do that for this book, I might draw a picture of the blue crayon, mightn't I? And then my sentence underneath might say, it is so funny. because that's why I love the book. Or if I was going to do it for Harry Potter, I might draw a picture of Harry. Shall I show you what I mean? Let's draw you a really quick picture. Now then, Harry has really messy hair. That's one of the things that's funny in the story, because no matter what anyone does to his hair, no matter how hard someone tries to cut it or to make it neat, it's always messy. So he has messy hair and he wears glasses. Okay. And he has a really special scar on his forehead. Now, I won't tell you why it's there or how he got it. You'll have to read the story to find out. But his scar is in the shape of a lightning bolt. Now then, I've drawn a very quick, slightly messy picture of Harry Potter. So I draw that in my home learning book, and then underneath my sentence might say, it is magical and exciting. That's why I love the story. So I would write it, and I'd use my big letter, my capital, because I'm starting a sentence. It, finger space between my words, it is magical. Magical. And if I use up my line, I can just go on to the next line underneath, can't I? And exciting. Right, guys, what do I need at the end of my sentence to show that I finished? A full stop. Well done. So that's choice number 1, guys, a picture and a sentence in your home learning book. If you don't fancy doing that, how about dressing up as your favourite book character? Maybe you've got a costume at home that you could put on. And once you're all dressed up as your favourite character, how about putting on a play for your grown-ups? Can you show them how brilliantly you can remember what happens in your favourite book or story by acting out some of it with you as the main character? That would be amazing. So, drawing or acting today, or your third choice might be to do something crafty, which I know lots of you love to do, and maybe you could decorate a potato to make them look like one of your favourite book characters. Now, I've put a little example on the card so you can see what I mean. In that picture, you can see we've got a Where's Wally and a white rabbit from Alice in Wonderland, haven't we? And they've been made by someone painting a potato and decorating it to make it look like those characters. So if you fancy that today, maybe you could do that job. Maybe you could make some clothes out of paper or material for them. It's up to you. Basically, guys, what I want you to do today is to spend some time just enjoying your favourite books and thinking about what's happening in them, okay? However you choose to do it is fine by me, as long as you have a nice time while you do it. Now, for our last Teams meetings of the week, so for Starfish today and Seahorses tomorrow, it would be fab if you could bring along your favourite book to the meeting to share with us. Or if you decide to make a character out of a potato, or if you decide to get dressed up, bring those along to your meeting too. If you'd like to come to your meeting in a costume, that would make me really happy. And Seahorses, even though your meeting is tomorrow, you can still come dressed up if you want to. Whatever you'd like to do, guys, is fine by me. Just make sure you have lots of fun doing it, enjoy those books, and I will see you after break, ready for our maths lesson.